with different ways. C# again, which has a little hashtag symbol. This is sharp, what it does, or what it can do with this conditional statements. So we're going to learn about them, and then we're going to do some examples, and I will show you where that's located. So to follow along with the examples, you can find a new solution that I created in this folder. So if you go to,
you mind just copying that into the chat window, and then we can just copy and paste. Yeah.
Copy and paste. I think
you.
everyone is mapped to the M drive, right? Chat. Oh, well, it's not going to work because the user is going to be your name.
Yeah, it's enough where we can just rewrite our username.
Okay. Actually, oh wait, wrong location. Hold on, that was wrong. That was the old. Just kidding. This is the real location. So actually go to the second one. And then there will be a batch file in that folder that you're going to click, and it'll copy some stuff to your documents folder. And James, I'm going to use you as a gauge since everyone has their mic off about where everybody is. So once you get this going, or once you get it copied, I'm going to assume everyone else has it copied.
Okay. Do I need to copy that batch file to my?
No, just double click on it.
Okay, I can just run it from here. Okay.
Yeah, just run it from there.
Hey, Alan, which Visual Studio we're requesting to install? 2019?
Yeah, I think 2019 Community Edition for you guys.
Okay.
So that copy, James?
It's asking me a question. File or directory?
Yeah, type F.
Okay, something happened, I guess.
And then go to, after that, go to your documents folder in drafting training. And then double click on drafting training 4.sln. Visual Studio will automatically open it. Again, let me just type that in the window. So of course, you'll replace A. Delira with your username in this directory. And it's drafting training 4.sln. I will proceed once you have it ready, James.
Yeah, I didn't find it for some reason.
It's fine.
That's weird.
If for whatever reason the batch file doesn't work, we can just literally manually copy and paste it, which is probably what we should do from now on. Are you having success, James?
I'm still trying to get there.
Okay.
I got there and I have a drafting training for PowerPoint.
Do you have
Yeah.
drafting for training 4.sln?
No.
No.
Oh, so just do this instead. Let's just go to the Adelair folder on the M drive. Go to class 4. Grab everything in this folder. Control C. Go to your drafting training folder. Just paste it up. Oops, paste shortcut. And then paste it. Seems these batch files never work. And I guess there's some like binary files I copied over, which I shouldn't have because it's slow. But you'll have all the files. So Damien/James, are you copying them right now?
I'm copying the drafting training for that SLN into my desktop, maybe?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing that right now. It's done.
You might need some of the other files in that location too, not just this SLN file. There's probably other files that are related to it. So once you have that, are able to open it from that wherever you saved it at when you double click on it. If not, then we could try one last thing that'll definitely work, and that's just literally opening it from this folder.
I was able to open it through
Okay,
Visual.
cool.
Yeah, just double click.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
It gave me an error message though.
What did it say?
It says an error occurred in solution drafting for 101 project while attempting to open training 4, the document, and then it gives me my username. It's already open it as a project or a solution. Cannot be open.
You copied it to your desktop?
Oh.
Yeah, not really sure why that'd be. I guess we could just continue with the class. So we'll just continue with the class, I guess. I didn't realize this would be that difficult. So I'll just go over conditional statements. So conditional statements, there's 2 types. There's branching and there's looping. So branching, there's if statements, there's switch statements. If statements are the one that's more common. That's the one we're going to go over today. And for looping, there's for loops, for each loops, while loops, do while loops. Well, you're going to go over these 2, the for loops and the for each loop. So conditional branching. So this is a statement which branches your code depending on whether a condition is met. And most commonly, they're just if statements. So here I have some logic. So the way the syntax would work is you have an if, and you have parentheses, and inside of those parentheses, there'll be some condition or bool. And if it's true, you'll do something. And where it says do something here would be where your code is. So they can also have multiple statements for multiple conditions. in addition to if, they could also include else if and else. So you can have your if and then a condition here, something, and your code will do something. You can have another condition. So after it looks at this if it's true, it'll go down here and do something. If it's false, it'll check this condition. It'll say else if something else, and it'll look for if something else is true or false. If it's true, it'll do something else. And if it's false, it'll go down to this else. And this else is always true, so it'll do something else if this else if is false.
So you can set up else for basically anything?
Else is anything. Anything that is not if or else.
It's not if. So else if it's like other if, and
yeah,
else
exactly.
is...
Exactly. Else is just like anything else.
Okay. So basically, like if this condition not met, I'm exiting kind
of. So in this conditional branch, it'll try if this one is false, it'll try else if.
Mm-hmm.
And if else if is false, it'll just do the else. Like it does this no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets down to here.
And could you have like as many else ifs in there before the else?
Yeah, that's actually the next slide I was going to go over.
Sorry for jumping ahead.
Oh, no problem. So the if branches can actually contain different combinations, but they have to have one if and then one else. Or sorry, they can only have one else. So you can, as you're saying, James, you could have an if, and you can have multiple else ifs. You can have like 50 if you wanted to. But right here we have 2. And you could also just have an if. You don't need an else if. You can have an if, and then you can have an else. Or you don't even need an else. So you can do any combination as long as you have one if and only one else. So you couldn't do 2 elses. Sort of makes sense?
Yep.
So now we are going to go to our example, which I don't think anyone was able to open. So I'm in my solution here, and this project is going to execute this main function, which also calls these other functions. Right now we're going to do example 1. And in this example, we have 2 variables. The first, they're both integer variables, or ints. They can only be a whole number. We have the first variable a is equal to 1. The second variable b is equal to 2. And then we have another conditional statement. We have if, else if, and else. And if any of these are true, you're going to get what's inside of these brackets. So if a is greater than b, it's going to write a is greater. A is less than b, it's going to write b is greater. And if neither of these is true, it's going to say both are equal. So if we execute this, since b is greater than a, we're going to expect it to say the second statement. So if we run it, it's actually on my other screen right now. It says b is greater, which is what we'd expect. Now, if we wanted to, we can change the values of a and b. And when it goes through these, this conditioning branch, the output is going to change because a different thing is true. So I believe that the first statement is going to print because a is now greater than b. So if I drag it over, now it says a is greater. But now if they're equal, we should get the third statement else, because it's not equal to a greater than b or a is less than b. So if we execute it one more time, it now says both are equal. A little bit of a boring example, but gets the point across. Is everyone good with this?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just
I'm gonna
following
comment
along
this
since I
out.
couldn't open it up.
Yeah. So now that I kind of went over conditional branching, I'm going to go over conditional looping. And conditional looping allows you to execute a block of code repeatedly until a condition is met. And as before, conditions are just like if something is true or false. So the loop will continue until the condition is true. Commonly used loops are for and for each loops. As I mentioned before, there's while and do while loops, but they're kind of, I don't recommend using them. It can lead to infinite loops, which will basically crash your program, and your program will blow up. Eventually, you'll get like a stack overload. So I really don't recommend using while and do while loops. I recommend for and for each loops. And I'm going to go over those. So for each loops, they loop through each item of a collection, and they do something for that, for each item. They're easy to use, and you should pretty much use them most of the time when you're working with collections. And just to review, for anyone who wasn't in the last class, collections are just some construct for storing multiple values, like in a list. Or you could think of it as like a list of different objects. In this small example I wrote here, we can assume we have a list of strings called names. And with this for each statement, you're leaping through each name as a string in this collection of names called names. And it goes through, and for each name, it'll do something. So it'll do whatever's down here for each name in names. And again, this is like, should be your go-to solution when you want to loop through a collection of items. Any questions about this? Okay, so I'm going to move on to.
Can you show example really quick, that name and
Sure.
names? Just, I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. I think I did an okay. Yeah. So we're going to do example 2 now. And example 2, I don't have names in this example, but I have actually, let's see. Oh no, this is another condition, like a branching example. We'll just skip this one. We'll go to example 3. Now we'll go to example 4. So in example 4, I actually do have like a list of names. It's called taco types. So I have these 5 tacos. Wait, this isn't a for each loop. I guess I didn't do a list with example with for each, so I'll just make a new example. Make a new example called example 5. In this example, we're going to have a list of tacos, and this list is called taco types. Inside of that list, we have an asada taco, a carnitas taco, a tofu taco, a lengua taco, and a cabeza taco. And if we wanted to use a for each loop on this list of tacos or taco types, you could say for each string, this is a type inside of this list. You could say taco in taco types. You have to type this in as a third thing, and then your list as the fourth thing in this condition. You need to finish it with closing brackets, and inside of this loop, we'll just do console write line, and then we'll have it loop through taco types, and then in each taco, it's just going to write taco name and another line. So if we execute this, let's try to grab my other. So we got, as expected, the loop. It goes the for each loops through taco types, and then for each item in the list, it just writes the name, and that's it. Does that sort of make sense, Yana?
So basically, you could say, instead of writing the name, you could say something else for each item, right?
Sure. You could say, I don't know. What would you want to say?
No, I don't know. Maybe
Price. I don't know.
available.
Price.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? We could write something else in there, but
No, it's fine. I mean, just if you add the, so basically it will print the front of the taco name, right?
yeah. So let's just see what happens now that I added this extra string. So now on every time when it loops through, it also says here is your taco, and then it adds the taco string. If you wanted to print something different though, Yana, I'll be going over this shortly, so I'll just do something weird. So I'll just say int I is equal to 1. I'm adding this plus plus operator. This basically takes the last value of your variable and then it adds to it. So you'll see, I'll show you the output, what happens. You'll understand what it means pretty soon. And we'll just say here is taco plus I. So now you're going to see here is taco plus this number plus the taco name. And this number is going to get incremented through every loop. So see, here is taco 1.
Let's itemize it.
Yeah, exactly. So we just basically create a way to like number the taco. And that's kind of the power of loops. Like you can do stuff in here that makes it way quicker to write code. So you don't have to go like, you don't have to write every line step by step. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So that is a for each loop. It loops through a list and then allows you to do stuff during each iteration of the loop. I'm now going to go over a for loop. It's also a very commonly used loop in C#. So this one is actually a little more complicated, but it basically you loop through until, this should say loop through statement until the condition is met. And a for loop, the syntax is a little bit weird. but it has three different statements. Each of these things does something different. Each of these statements is divided by this little semicolon. And you have the first statement denoted by statement 1, the second by statement 2, and the third by statement 3. So statement 1, this is something that it only does once. The second is the condition that needs to be true to exit this statement. And the statement 3 is the thing that it does every time it loops. And this plus plus thing, as I showed you before, it means that each time it goes through the loop, it increments. So basically, this loop, what it's going to do is it's going to declare a variable I just within this statement. It's going to be equal to 0. And then as long as I is less than 5, it's going to add to I. So essentially, it's going to loop through this. The first iteration through the loop, I will be equal to 0. And then it's going to say, hey, is it less than 5? And no, it's equal to 0. So it's going to add 1 to I, and I is going to be equal to 1. And then it's going to do what it needs to do here. It's going to loop around, and then I will, at this point, won't be equal to 0 anymore. It will be equal to 1. And it'll repeat the process until I is less than 5. Actually, in this case, it's going to be infinite loop because I will never be less than 5. I actually wrote this incorrectly. So what I should have put was I is greater than 5. And I'll show you guys an example. That's probably a little complicated. And my explanation example will be more and more clear. So if we go down to example 3, I created basically the same thing here. We have a for loop. The first statement, I is equal to 0. You're just declaring a variable called I is equal to 0. And we want to change this to be greater than 5. This is the condition that needs to be met for it to exit the loop. The third statement is what it's going to do inside of this statement here every time it loops. And now we have our code inside of here. We just wrote a simple if statement. So if I is less than 3, we write whatever is here. And this I variable is going to be available inside of these curly brackets. So when it's incrementing here, you're going to be able to get its value inside of these. And I will run this example, and you guys will see what happens.
Is that how you order tacos? Let me get some tacos, homie. Is it?
Maybe.
Also, if you had it like the other way, like I is less than 5, wouldn't it just end at the first loop? Because technically it's always gonna be less than 5. If I equals to 0.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be
Yeah.
an infinite. It'd be an infinite. It'd be an infinite loop.
Oh.
So I think that was the answer to your question, Damien. So let's see, for int, thanks for the tacos. Huh, that's weird. It looks like it didn't even go into here because this was never true. So let's see what I did wrong. So we have int I equal to 0. I is greater than, yeah, you're right, Damien. I did have it incorrectly. So it needs to be as long as I is less than 5. It actually never went through the loop, you're correct. So now it went through the loop and it printed, let me get some tacos, homie, 3 times. Because it only printed it when I was less than 3. So let me just add one little addition here. I added an I to the string so you can know what the index is, just so we can kind of see what's going on better. And we'll change this to a greater sign. So what do you guys think will be printed now? What you should be thinking is that it's going to loop through this for loop, and it's going to print 2 times, I believe. No, actually, I think it only print once. Let's see. Yes, it printed 4. Let me get some tacos. Because of something that I actually didn't explain yet, I think. Yeah, these for loops are kind of, it can be a little bit confusing, which is why I recommend for each loops, usually, unless you need to use these. But when I is less than 5, it will continue to increment. So basically, it got to 4 and printed this. And after it incremented, it wasn't able to loop again because when it incremented to 5, it was not less than 5, it was equal to 5. Any questions there? Okay. So for loops can actually also be used with collections, similar to the way I showed you earlier, like where we did for each, like for each name in that collection, do something. However, it's a little more complicated and error prone because it requires indexing a collection. And indexing just basically means you're taking a item in a collection based on its position in that collection. So say you had 4 items in a collection. The first item in C# would actually be item 0. The second item would be item 1, and the third item would be item 2. Fourth would be item 3, because collections in C# are 0 indexed, which means the 0th item is actually the first item, which is kind of confusing actually. So I wrote this little example. So say you had a collection of names, so it's strings. You can use this little bracket syntax to index a collection. So you can use a for loop to loop through and get the value that this collection is storing at this index at each loop or each iteration of this loop. And I will show a more clear example. But is there any questions thus far? Okay. So we're going to do example 4. And in example 4, we have taco types again. Instead of using a for each loop this time, as in we did in this example 5, we're using a for loop. We're going to do something similar. We're going to say int is I equal to 0, while I is less than 4. We'll do I++, so we'll increment I. And we're going to get the value of taco types at index I. So throughout the loop, this I is going to change. It should give us a different value inside of this list of strings each time that the loop iterates. So I'm going to run the example. And as you see, each iteration through the loop gave us a different name. But as you notice here, it actually only printed 4 of these taco names. We're going to change this to 5. And that'll give us each of the taco names because it was able to index each of these items. But as I mentioned, what were you going to say, Yana?
It's just general. So to let run only that portion of the code, this is how you remove the. So on the top, you're just removing the backslashes, and it knows just you only on this one.
These slashes are called comments. And the comments basically just mean, hey, ignore this line.
Okay. So technically, if you want to run the whole thing, it would be without comments. So you would run like the whole thing. Okay. You probably showed earlier. I just.
Yeah, it's okay. It was like 2 months ago that I did that class.
Yeah. I just want to make sure.
I'm going to show you guys one last thing here. As I mentioned before, this is more error prone. If I change this to 6, it's actually going to crash the code because there's no index in this taco types at that value of I. So it's saying index was out of range, must be non-negative and less than the size of the collection. So when using for loops and collections, you kind of have to be careful or you get that error. So for the last part of the class, I actually created a couple challenges. If we're able to get the Visual Studio working, we can go through these together. But I kind of want to try that. So I don't know. Who has Visual Studio again? Damien and James?
I just requested mine to install.
Yeah. I think James stepped away. Damien, are you still present?
Yeah, I'm right here. I just can't open it.
James is here.
I keep trying. I try different things, and it won't let me open.
Can you go to the M drive folder again? And then instead of just copying this, copy.
Yeah, I actually copied the drafting training folder.
You did.
I copied this one.
Got it.
Twice and different locations, and it wouldn't let me do anything. It still gave me that error message.
Can you open it from this folder?
I tried to go through that, like navigate through Visual Studio, and I couldn't do it either. It still gave me that error message again.
So if you go to this drafting training folder, do you have any stuff here? Maybe you have like another thing from previous class. It doesn't really matter. Solution.
Let me see. Drafting training. Hold on. This is.
Alternatively, you could just create a new solution.
Okay.
If we can't do this in like a couple minutes, I'm just gonna go ahead and do the challenges myself, but thought it'd be more fun if we had a chance to.
Okay. Yeah, I got it open.
I don't have anything.
Okay, James, you have it open?
I believe I do.
Damien, can you just we'll just go on James' screen and we'll watch James.
Oh, great. So you guys watch me fail. All right. You want me to take over?
Yeah.
Does this look like the one?
Yep, this is perfect.
All right, James, so you're gonna walk me through it because
I'm gonna walk you through it.
Following along on screen without doing, I kind of lost a few things.
So James, can you go up to the portion of the code where it says challenge 1 and it's commented out with those 2 slashes.
Right here.
Yeah, can you delete those 2 slashes? And then you could scroll down till you find challenge 1. So James, you are starting a new taqueria. You need to come up with 6 taco types and add them to your menu.
I'm not going to make a profit because I'm going to be eating the profits, but okay. All right. So do I just add it right?
Yeah,
Start
just add it in
typing
there.
here.
Mhm.
All
The
right.
first thing you need to do is create a new list.
All right.
You can literally copy that if you want
Yeah,
to.
that's what I was going to do. Just that right there.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like there's only 5 taco types, so add another one with a comma and then quotation marks.
Alrighty. Should I add another one or
If you want to.
what's another
You
name
forgot
for?
the comma.
Oh, right.
I don't know, what kind of tacos do you like? There you go. Okay.
Or I guess I could take taco out because we're adding that in there. So
There you go.
super.
So now, James, you're going to need to use a conditional loop to print those all.
Okay, so do I want to change this to like 7 or something?
Yeah, I think that's correct. Maybe you want to change the text.
Let's see. Oh, I like that. No, yeah, I love me some tacos.
Okay. So if you hit that start button, you can execute what you wrote and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You completed the challenge.
Yummy. I'm now hungry.
Are you up for challenge number 2, James?
All right, let's do challenge number 2.
All right, so scroll back up to the main function. Add some comments to challenge 1. Exactly. You already know what to do.
Following along, kind of. All right.
So based on Yelp reviews, you were able to obtain ratings from 1 to 10 for each of your tacos. Please revise your menu to only include tacos with a rating of 8 or greater.
Oh, well, all my tacos are rated 10. So do I?
I don't know, not according to Yelp. It says taco 1 got a 1.
No. All right. Well, okay. So let's see. Okay, so now I need add a string again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where did
You
my
could probably
string-
copy the list that you made before for the.
Yeah. Let's just add this. Actually, can I just copy all of this?
Copy it.
Okay. All right, this is where I might need help.
So what you need to do is you need to somehow add those ratings and only print out the ones that are rated above the stated value, which I believe is 8.
Okay. And I start where?
Well, inside of that loop is where you're going to be writing all the stuff on the menu. So inside of those two curly brackets is where you're going to write stuff.
Okay.
But right now, as you currently have it, you don't have a list with those ratings. You're probably going to want to create something that stores those values so you know which ones to include.
This is a pretty big challenge. Do I create a new list with a new name?
Create a new list. Looks like you forgot to copy the bottom curly bracket though.
There we go. Is that it, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Put it right here.
This list though, you can't have the same variable name, so you need to change that.
Yeah, so
there you go, taco rating. And this is a list of strings right now. You're gonna have to change the type of list it is.
what was the list type?
Well, it depends, like if you want your ratings to be whole numbers or decimal numbers.
Let's use whole numbers.
You would want to use an int then.
Do I need to change these ones as well?
Yep.
To int, okay.
Well, that one you need to change, but the other one not necessarily. We'll see what happens.
Which one?
That one that you're hovered over right now. Sorry.
So I don't need to change that one?
You need to change this one because this is the type of list it is. It's a needs to be an int list. So now you have a list, taco rating. Inside of your list, you have a bunch of strings. So you're going to need to replace those strings with ints.
All right.
Again, they need to be separated by commas.
Yeah. How do I assign though the integers to each of these tacos though? Or do I just list out numbers like what you have?
Yeah, that's exactly what you do, James.
So I copy all this up here, kind of?
Yeah, put those.
Right beside it, like...
Well, this list, James, you can only put ints inside of it. You can't put the names because they're
okay.
strings.
So just like that? Or do I take the quotes out?
Try it and see.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of knows which one is 1, which one is 2, which one is 3 in the same order. So basically,
it keeps that order.
It keeps that order.
Correct.
So basically, 1 is for Sarah, 6 is for Carnitas.
If you use the same indexing, yes. There's a way to combine the list together, but we're not going to go over that.
Since I have an extra taco, I think James's favorite taco is a 10 rating. So.
Of course.
Okay.
Is that a 7 or is that 6?
Which one?
Or is that,
should be
is that
7 here.
Okay, cool. But it looks like it's still red, James.
Oh, of course. Let's see. Does this work? That seems like it works.
When you put quotation marks, it declares the object as a string. The compiler knows what to do already.
Right.
Now you have two lists. You have taco types and taco rating. So right now this for loop is going through for each taco type and taco types, it's going to print that message. So you need to modify it to only print if the rating is
I
above an 8.
equals
Greater
6
than
or 8.
8.
So is it I needs to be different too?
I is fine. That's just the syntax of the loop.
Oh.
If you change the I is greater than 7 now, James, you're going to have the same problem that I ran into. The loop is never going to be greater than 7, so it'll never run.
Because you only have 7 items.
Oh, so this is, okay, so that's just Okay, that's not looking for the rating then, huh?
That's just controlling how the loop works. Like it's running as long as that's true.
Okay, how about we just do that then?
Well, now it's going to run as long as I is greater than 8.
Oh, you are correct. So we're going back to less than.
Yes. What you could do, James, is you could add a different type of conditional statement. Remember the if statement we went over at the beginning?
Yeah, do you have that in here that I can just steal? This is the next one.
Nervous, James?
Well, I've got 5 other eyes on my work here, so 5's not too bad. So I'm okay. Once you guys start snickering and I hear it, then I get nervous.
So
Okay.
if you want to put multiple lines within a statement, you need to put curly brackets. So you're going to want to add curly brackets. Press enter. And then add some curly brackets.
What's my curly bracket? I don't even use that key very much. There it
It's
is.
shift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit enter. And now you're going to want to do what you need to do inside of that other statement, because you only get to that statement if that statement is equal to true. So right now that statement is saying if I is less than 3, it's true. I is the index of that loop.
Yeah, so this needs to be, this is now the rating that we're looking at? Is that
Well,
true?
if you look in line 167, James, to get the index of a list, you use those curly brackets. See how it says curly bracket, taco types, curly brackets, I?
Where am I? Oh, right here, yeah. Oh, that's taco types, okay. So we're just going down the list then of taco types.
Right now, you're going down the list of taco types.
Okay.
But I'll give you a hint. You want to index taco rating. Yeah, exactly.
So I need to change this back to int and change this to taco.
Well, you're going to want to
rating.
index different things, James. Like you want to index, you still want to get the taco type, but you also want to get the taco rating.
Yeah.
Is he changing second taco type on taco rating?
Well, the goal is to only get print the taco types that have a rating over 8. That's the goal.
All right, this is where I'm kind of stumped because
Okay, I'll help you out. So declare another variable, James, of type int.
Do what now?
So underneath the if statement, press enter.
Okay.
No, not inside of it. Outside of it? Yeah, perfect. So now type int. And you can just call this variable taco rating. Oh, no spaces. And then you'll make it equal to, you're going to want to index your other list. So equal sign. And you have another list called taco rating.
What is it called? Taco rating. So I just write taco rating again.
Oh, we already used that name, so you can't use it twice.
Yeah.
So maybe change that variable to like something like maybe taco rating 2, just because we're short on time.
So on the top?
No, you could do it on the top or the bottom. Or why don't you just call the top one taco ratings? That makes more sense. So just call that taco ratings. Scroll down.
And then which one is This
So
one?
now you want to, no, that's a separate variable. So then, and again, you could use those brackets. Oh, not the curly bracket, the square bracket. To index, you're going to want to put I in that. And you want to end the line with a semicolon. But you spelled the variable name incorrectly because it's case sensitive. That has to
case
be
sensitive.
lowercase.
All right.
Yeah. So now you have the taco rating and the taco type. The only thing is you need to copy that code and put it inside of that conditional statement.
Inside of the
Actually,
brackets?
no, you want to
It's
keep
4
the
o'clock.
taco
Look at
rating
that.
inside. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to finish this, James, or
How many minutes do I have left to do this?
0?
Okay. So I just copy this right here.
So I'll help you out. So
Yeah.
copy the if statement, the line 166 to line 163.
150.
No, sorry, 163 to 166. I must have misspoken. Copy that. Put it below taco rating.
Right down here.
Below taco rating variable, the int taco rating line 167. And then copy the taco type and console write line into that conditional statement.
Taco type. This one here.
And line 173 to 174 as well.
And just paste that in which line?
Line 170. Also grab the taco type equal blah, 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 line 173. And then put it in line 170. So go up to line 169, press enter. And then, yeah, there you go. And delete line 174. And 175 to 176. Delete those lines. Okay, now let's just run the code and we'll see what happens.
What will?
So put the I is less than 7.
This one here.
The one in line 161. Press, there's a stop button in the middle. Press start and see what you got. Oh. Well, it looks like we kind of ran out of time. You would need to add some more stuff, but it looks like you got it to print something.
Nice.
So I think the only thing you needed to add, James, you needed to make that I is equal or is greater than, instead of I is less than 3, make it I is greater than 8, and you would have been done.
Or can you do also I equals 8?
If you did I equals 8, Damien, then it would only be true if, oh, sorry, it shouldn't be I, it should be taco rating is.
Oh.
So on line 168, you need to put taco rating. Sorry, inside of the if statement, instead of I, put taco rating, because you want to know if the taco rating is greater than 8. If you hit start, oh, actually, after line 173, James, put console read line or console dot read line. There you go. Press enter. Yeah, there you go. And then a curly semicolon. Hit start. Doesn't like that. Oh, hit no. Put 2 parentheses after read line, or after or before the semicolon though. There you go. And now press start.
No one liked my tacos.
No one likes the tacos, I guess.
No, maybe no tacos is higher than 8 or no, I don't know.
James's
say that
favorite
again?
taco is rated highly.
Ah, right, 10.
So it says, just close it. If taco rating is greater than 8.
Oh, we wanted 8 or greater, right? But still, it should have caught at least 1 or 2.
Let's see. I wonder
Because
why.
it's not going to show any that are 8. So like this one wouldn't show.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not exactly sure why, James. It's probably something really simple, but we're kind of out of time. So
Do I need another curly bracket somewhere around here? I feel like.
no. If taco rating is greater than 8. Taco ratings. You can. You want to? I'll shoot you something, James. On line 168, in the gray area on the left. So see where the number says 168 in green. Go to the left of that, and then click on the side. A little red button should show up. If you hit start, you could actually see what's going on when you press start. It'll hit a breakpoint. So if you hover your mouse over different variables, you could actually see like what they're equal to. So this current taco rating is equal to 1. So that's not true. And if you hit the continue button back on the top, James, you can loop. You can continue through your loop. Oh, looks like didn't make it through the loop. So that's probably the problem.
Go.
Or I think it might be that read line. Close. I think it's that read line. It's because it's in the loop. We should put it outside the loop. It never got through the loop. So put it outside of the for loop, and we should have the correct output. Now to delete that breakpoint, James, you want to click it again. There you go.
Wow.
Oh,
So the tofu tacos were rated highly, huh?
because it's number 9, right? Or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
But James's favorite tacos made it on the list.
Of course it did.
Did make it.
It was,
Hey, Alan, is it sensitive to space or not?
Oh yeah.
It is.
Definitely.
So it will highlight it if it's like I have extra space.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The compiler will see it and tell you, or the IDE rather. It won't let you compile it.
I have a lot of questions, but I'm not gonna do this.
cool.
Well,
Can you just say really quick the color wise? So the blue color it stands for
usually a variable or a function.
Variable or function, and purple is for
I guess it's a conditional statement, like a for loop or an if statement,
So
or
statement.
anything else. Honestly, I never really pay attention to the color.
You didn't pay attention to the color, but it's trying to tell you something.
Yeah. I think the green one is like, it's a library, so it's referencing like a class or library.
The green one, I don't see a green one. You mean like kind of like turquoise?
Turquoise.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like classes are green.
Uh-huh.
And red is a string.
And red is everything what gets printed. Kind of.
Yeah, no, just the strings. Which a string is
strings.
a list of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Or an array of characters, I think, is more correct.
My brain is fried.
Mine too.
I hope you
I'm gonna
guys
go enjoy
enjoyed
some
it.
tacos. Yes. I feel hungry for tacos every time I take your class, Alan.
Is it always tacos?
It's always tacos.
Yeah, it's a thing. But thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Alan.
Alan.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Alan.
All right. See ya.